Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our excellent show, the Skookum Session Roundtable. Tonight, we are joined by most of the usual gang. We're missing Travis, unfortunately. He had some stuff to do. But, as usual, we have Don Gummo with us. Don, how's it going?
Good, Jeremiah. How you been?
I can't complain, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Nice weather down there, huh?
Oh my God, dude! It's brutal. It's to the point where I can't really take it. It's not like the country, that's for sure.
Right. You get a lot of rain going on lately too.
We
Huh?
have I told you before, my spa is just totally flooded, just flooded right out.
Right.
There's 7 foot of water down there. And it'll take just about the whole summer for that to dry up. I mean, I would think. Quite a while. It's deep. But anyway, we've also got Mr. Stu Hill from across the pond once again. Stu, how you doing, man?
Mighty fine, Jeremiah. Mighty fine. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Glad to have you once again.
Hey, Stu. How you doing?
Hey, Don. Not bad at all, man. Not bad at all.
It's nice. Nice to hear. The man who gets all our used weather.
Right.
Yeah. That's
We haven't had
Unfortunately.
rain for months now.
Last, certainly not least, you have John Schweitzer. John, it is an honor. How are you?
Good afternoon. I am well, and the honor is mine, bud.
Hey,
Doing
John.
well here. Hey, doing well
How's it
here. Good weather. 72, 73. Had a campfire and some s'mores last night. I'll have to send you a picture. S'mores and a mustache do not go together. Just visualize it. Just visualize it.
No.
No, I don't imagine it works out too well. So anyway, yeah, we got quite the interesting show planned this evening. Couple things John and I had talked about earlier. We're gonna cover them, and then Robert from the group, Robert Snavely, good friend of ours, came up with a little something he wanted covered, and I think that'll turn into quite the interesting little discussion. Sure, we'll end up irritating a few people with that one, but hey, what else is new? Never really fails. I mean, I'm sure we leave someone upset every week, but hey, part of the gig. Anyway, John, did you want to start this off or what?
Well, I can give it a shot. As normal, Jeremiah, you and I discuss things and ideas and so forth like that. One of the things that we discussed this week that we thought might be good for the show is could you call them traits? We'll call them traits for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
That Bigfoot or a Sasquatch might display. Now, I've got my own opinions on this, but I'd rather just open this up and hear what everybody thinks. But
right.
We have reports. These reports come in such ways as, like, say, the strength of a Sasquatch. No human being could have lifted that 10-inch diameter log that's 8 feet long and placed it. Okay, we hear that. So Bigfoot has got to be unbelievably strong. You'll see a branch that's hanging over a section of a tree that looks like, to me, would have been right. hit by lightning, but it's laying across the path, and it took a Bigfoot must have done that because it's laying across a fire trail. Then you have things like their sense of smell. Now we've got, what is it? Touch, smell, hearing, eyesight, taste. Oh, come on, help me out. Did I say hearing? Well, there you go. I think, is there more than that? Well, Bigfoot always seems to have 7 or 8.
Right.
You know, their olfactory system, if we call it that, the way they smell things. Some people think that they could smell just like a bear. Well, they're not a bear. You know, they're not a bear. They're a primate. So they probably smell things like a primate does. And as an example, the way we do. I mean, for people that don't smoke, live around, out in the country, and you walk into a city or drive into a city, you smell it right off the bat with your car traveling and so forth, and then their sense of smell. How great is it, or how great isn't it? Then you have their hearing. All right, how good is that? Then you always have my old time favorite, red eyes that glow at night, or they must have some kind of infrared. Okay, there are a lot of fish that have infrared, your deep sea fish, but how many, and reptiles, but how many primates have infrared? So those.
Well, we know other animals have infrared.
Right.
And ultraviolet.
But we got to rephrase this, though.
Yeah, but to
go ahead,
finalize,
John. I'll go ahead after.
Yeah, to finalize it, and then I'll shut up for any ideas that guys got. And discuss. Then there is all, and these are questions that have been asked of me. That's why I asked and put them together, and I waited to get enough of them. Then you have the old thing of, well, these are things that we make up because we cannot find a Sasquatch. It's very few that we ever find, and some people may see them, but it's made up as a flimsy excuse as to why people don't readily see a Sasquatch, is because of all of these superhuman powers that they must have. All right. Now, I'm not a skeptic. I'm a realist. I believe, but these things have been asked of me, and I finally got enough of them put together that I just thought I'd throw it out there. So there you go, guys. Have at it. I just threw the ball at you. Take it.
Don, you want to go ahead first, or what?
Okay. Maybe I'll go right down the list. Hearing, I know for a fact that they have extraordinary hearing. Supernatural or something? No, I don't think so. Even something in that I've noticed when I moved out of the city and moved into the middle of the woods. I can mushroom hunting. I can smell black trumpet mushrooms. Somebody told me that eventually I would be able to, because I had first moved up here, and I can tell you, I can, like John said, cigarettes. I can smell someone smoking a cigarette. Houses that are a half mile away from me if I'm out in the woods. I can smell certain mushrooms, and your senses absolutely enhance once you get away from the city and all the pollution. It cleans you out, and you can smell a lot more. Hearing, sight, I believe they have some sort of infrared. I really do. Just the way they can pick out those trail cams. I've tried hiding my trail cam, and they can pick them out.
I do.
Yeah. Self-illuminating eyes or something like that. I'm not on board with that, but I not yet. I haven't seen anything, or really any way to explain it. That's where I have to go with a lot of stuff. I have to figure out a way to explain it. There's other things too, like the one I saw blur out. It blurred out from my vision. It was still there. I could tell something was running through the woods. I just saw branches moving, but I could see his feet. So I think that has something to do with just your eyesight, which we have terrible eyesight as compared to every other creature on this earth. Our eyesight is poor. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I thought it was because of your brain not recognizing what you're seeing and your brain blocking it out, which your brain does do. If your eyes see something and your brain doesn't recognize it, your brain will block it out. But I'm not sure if that's what it is. It was what happened to me. I have another theory I'm kind of working on. But for scent, though, they take full advantage of bedding up high because all the scent goes uphill during the day, and at night they come down because everything comes down. So,
Right.
I think their scent is probably, say they're 10 times bigger than me. I bet their sense of smell is 10 times better than mine.
Yeah.
Oh, I
think it would have to do
so.
with size more than, because they would have bigger nostrils, bigger, receptors in the nose. They would collect more. So
Right.
that's kind of where I stand on that. But well, what was the other one? Speed, touch, taste. What were the other? Am I missing one?
You got
I think
hearing,
that's it.
yeah, taste,
Hearing.
touch, eyes,
Yeah.
and financial. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I covered it. Stu?
Okay.
The way I see it is, it's not how good their senses are, but how poor ours have become.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, modern life, we don't have to hunt for our food anymore. You go down to the market, don't you? Modern life, well, when we became so-called civilized, did our senses, because we're not using them as much, have they dumbed down, so to speak?
Mm-hmm. That would explain why we can smell a McDonald's a mile away.
Yeah.
Because we're fat, disgusting hogs.
Yeah.
But it's what we know and what we like. It's what we need to eat.
Right.
It triggers those receptors.
We don't have to hunt using smell anymore, do we?
Right.
Nope.
Right.
And modern life, I'm positive modern life it's dumbed down our senses. Absolutely sure of it. And the smells of the city, deodorants and perfumes, air fresheners. It's all taking an effect on my senses. TV, it's all taking an effect, and so I think it's where our senses, our sense of smell and taste, our eyesight and my hearing was that like theirs at one time, and it's sort of dumbed down over the generations, over the centuries, because we don't need it anymore.
Right. Yeah, when we lose it, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. You don't use. Oh, sorry. Don't use it. You lose it.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry.
We all know that as we get older.
Right. Not just that, but.
Oh Lord, God.
Anyway, the human body.
I better stop there. But anyway, Bruce, at the risk of sounding insane, and John, I have not sent you these pictures yet.
Okay.
I have Don. I have Stu.
Yep.
And they both seen them.
There must be a reason.
No. I just didn't get around to it yet.
Okay.
Because I have been in awe. Okay, for the past few days about this. I still am. Okay, and I have no explanation for this whatsoever.
Oh, pray tell, what are they of?
Well, it has to do with self-illuminating eyes. Okay, yes, I said it.
Yep.
I have no explanation for this. Okay, I have two clear. It was pitch black the other night. When Stacy and I go out, we like to kill the lights. Okay, we like to sit there in the dark. Noticed what I thought was eye glimmer, eye shine. Okay, I put the camera. There's an island out in the middle of this, river, we'll call it, where I do my research, and that's where it was coming from. I picked my phone up and I placed exactly where I thought it came from. Just as I'm about to hit the button, a set of red eyes comes flashing on, and we could hear these things walking around in the water, walking around on the island, they're vocalizing. It was no doubt what they were. I mean, the action I've had down there is just unbelievable. Shortly afterwards, same thing happened, but with a set of blue eyes. Now, the only light I had on anything that night is when I videotaped another set from that was on that island, okay? That came back as fluorescent white. That time I did have the torch on my video camera. Now, John, I will send you these right now. I have no explanation, okay? I don't. All I friggin' know is that it happened. I did talk to another researcher the other night. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not even going to say what we talked about. But he had an extremely similar experience, but much closer than mine. And he also told me a reason why sometimes they're able to do this. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I will not violate someone's trust. You guys know me. I'm not going to bullshit about something like this. I have no explanation for it, guys. I just don't. All I know is what I saw and what I have pictures of that I'm about to send you right now, John. It's
Okay.
just hold tight. And like I said, I could hear him walking around, stepping in the water. We had a freaking boulder fly over we were on top of the bridge, okay? Had a boulder fly over our head, hit the water behind us, hit it so hard that you could hear it hit rocks on the bottom of the riverbed. Okay, so this thing wasn't I shouldn't say rock. When I say boulder, I mean boulder. So yeah, as far as that goes, I have no explanation for it. I don't.
When you say boulder, are we talking something about, say, the size of a medicine ball?
I'm talking something probably 70 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
It'd be about the size of a
bigger. Yeah.
Bigger.
You can get medicine balls in different sizes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, however big it was, it went so high, and it came from such a distance that it came down with enough force to hit rocks on the bottom of the riverbed.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have had a little bit of weight to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's some strength too.
And I'm telling you, man, is what I saw. I mean, that's all I can do. I mean, do I have an explanation? Absolutely not. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. And I get excited just thinking about it because I don't have an explanation. Probably never will. So here comes one of them right now. That's the red. Yeah, man.
I'm looking for. Oh, I see. Here it comes. I think.
It blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
I see him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
how far away?
The island is about anywhere. It's hard to judge. Anywhere from about 40 to 60, 70 feet, maybe. It's hard to say. There's a big cypress on the island, and I think it was behind that cypress. I don't know. The hell with speculating. I can sit here and speculate all friggin' day long.
Yeah.
I have no idea, man.
I'm gonna say it this way, but it doesn't mean. I hope you don't take it wrong. Those are because no one can see them but us, right?
Here comes another one.
Yeah, these eyes that I'm looking at, or this reflection that I'm looking at, is bright enough that it looks like it's artificial. Almost like a car headlight hitting a red reflector. That bright. I'm not saying that they're not what you said. I'm just commenting on how bright they are.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing this individual told me is when this happens. And Don, you made a comment about that as well. Something to that effect. Okay. He explained to me that he was told when this happens, it's almost like you said, John, it's something artificial. They come across as something artificial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
but
does.
Like I said, I had no explanation for it. I don't. I wish I did.
If somebody on JRG or on the trail would come up with something like this and say, "This is what I got," I would, not knowing them, but knowing you. I mean, I'm looking at this, and this is like, holy shit. Okay,
Right.
you know, and this
Yeah.
is something different than I've seen compared to. But that's maybe a lot of people have seen this, and that's what we're looking at when we look at
Mm-hmm.
some of them on the trail. But folks, you got to have. I know Jeremiah. And you got to have some kind of something for proof. And I know Jeremiah, and I know him well enough that yep. I'm not going to discount these.
I mean, I wish I did have an explanation. I don't have one, and it's kind of that's kind of frustrating,
Oh
it really is.
Well, just keep searching and looking, and you'll find the explanation.
Now, last night, last night though, we went down there again, and we had a hell of a night. I got some great audio, which Zarin is going to clean up. You guys will get it as soon as I clean it up. Heard some really cool noises. Don heard a lot of the mouth popping. Mouth popping almost as if they were clicking their teeth together as well. You ever heard that before?
I've heard a horse do that.
Yeah,
right. Well,
that's what it
sounded. Okay, well, that's what it sounded like. But here's the thing: we could see, like I said, we could see eyeballs. But this time, we did have a light on. We did have light in their eyes, and we could see them looking dead at us. And we could hear them prancing around on the water. Tossing pebbles into the water. I mean, it was crazy, insane. It was one wild night. It really was. Here you go. I'll send you these right now, John. When I send you these, enhance it.
I'm seeing the blue ones right now. That's gonna. Okay. Those are like a bright baby blue. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, that one I just sent you, enhance it, because the eyes are quite a ways away. And enhance this next one as well. Right, and I'm sorry, everybody out there. I'm sorry I can't share this with everybody. Not yet. I can't. Not until I get further in this investigation.
Well, we're supernatural. We're extra special people. That's why we see them. Right?
We are the chosen ones.
Yeah. Now, and this chosen one can't get his computer to do what he wants it to do either. So there.
If you can't. Okay, yeah. Enhance.
I couldn't find the X. Gee, many Christmas. Yeah. Come on. I've hit this X about. There it goes.
It's got it has its head tilted.
Yeah. I can
you can see the ground when you scroll down.
I see the ground. Yeah, if I could just get the thing blowed up.
And the top one, you can see the ground as well.
Okay.
And that's two different ones. Now, I took over 20 pictures last night. I still haven't been through them all. I mean, close to 30. I don't even know how many, to be honest with you. I could count them right now, but I'm not going to do it during the show. So, they all come back. I mean, and I'm seeing different. The thing is, I'm seeing all sorts of different colors as well, Like the one we saw the other night, the eyes were blue like that. I mean, I still have an explanation. I wish I did. I don't. And I'm going to send you one more, John. I'll send you that after.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
We're going to talk about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm seeing the ground, and boy, that's far off. That is.
It's a ways off, yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Maybe 75 feet.
Probably, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying. The ones that we took the other night were probably a little bit, we're a little bit closer. That's why I said anywhere from 40 to 70. I have a hard time judging distances because of my, that kickboxing injury to the head. So I have a hard time with the numbers sometimes. But anyway, Stacy, when we go out, she loves sitting in the dark. She loves it, and we do, and yeah, it's creepy, but hey, we got some great audio last night. Like I said, that reminds me, here's another piece I got to send you, John.
Of Stacy sitting in the dark, right? No.
Well, I can send you one of those too if you want.
Okay, I'm up for that anytime. I'll find one and send you back too.
These guys these guys have heard it. Now, I sent it to our friend Mr. Jedning as well, and okay, I'll just let you listen to it, and I don't mind playing this one for everybody. It sounds like, remember the pull-up screamer?
Mm,
Do you?
vaguely.
In the 70s? You must remember. You must remember. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. No, I did not.
Anyway, yeah.
Nothing.
No, let me, okay, so I don't mind playing this one. To me, I let a biologist friend of ours that we all know. I'm not going to say, like I said, I'm not going to say his name on the radio, but he listened to it and he said, if it's trying to mimic a coyote, that's too much lung power. And you can hear the other kicker in it is you can hear knocking, bang, 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 and it's pretty interesting. Let me see if I can get it to play here. Here we go. Can you guys still there? I don't want to lose you all doing this. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Just get to it. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Come on, play. There we go. Okay. Damn it.
Sounds like a coyote to me. No.
Just wait.
I'm pulling your chain, dude.
Just wait. The whack. Did you hear the whack at the end again?
We couldn't hear anything there, Jeremiah.
Nothing here either, buddy.
Anything?
No, couldn't hear anything.
Damn it. I don't know how to get something to play while we're on Skype.
You just put it next to your microphone.
I don't know if that'll work, Don. Will it?
I've done it.
Yeah, it's just like you talking.
See if I can do it from my drive. I mean, it might. I mean, I want you guys to get the full benefit out of it, though.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want, because I want you to hear what I heard on the original recording. You know what I mean? And it to me, man, I grew up hunting coyotes with hounds and never, it does not sound like a damn coyote. And there's a couple of them there.
So it sort of sound like somebody imitating a coyote.
Yeah.
That's my thing was like, okay, whatever this is trying to imitate a coyote, but you can, in my opinion, you can tell it's not. There's no way, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you can hear it knock as well. Is what I'm saying. It's knocking.
When I heard it, John, it sounds like it's not coming from a O-shaped mouth. Like O. It's coming from an ah.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now I'll try what you said to try. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll give it.
Yeah, just
play it next to the mic.
Yeah.
We'll give it a shot. Hold on.
So you can hear it too.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll give it a shot here. All right. Just listen carefully. I want you to hear that freaking. I want you to hear that damn knocking. Okay.
Mm.
Just let it play through, Jeremiah.
I did. That was it.
That was
40
interesting.
Yeah, and
I-
you heard the crack, right? The two cracks.
Yeah.
Okay. See, to me, that's just too much lung power. To me.
Yeah, I got one similar to that.
You
Actually.
do, and yours as
Yeah,
well.
it's this one. It's this one right here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have a noise in mine just like yours, except it's not a
very
crack. It's from my computer. It makes a
That's
specific
very
sound.
similar. Yeah, that's very similar.
It's
It
almost
is, yeah.
identical. I sent you
Oh.
this one. I sent you this one about 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's when I played that for mine for the first time. That's what it reminded me of, man. It's and I let Will listen to it last night. He played it on the show, and he said that reminds me of the blow up screamer. I mean, and like I said, I had someone we all know. He's a biologist. He took a listen to it, and he said that's just too much lung power.
Yeah, we have to compare them both, put them side by side. Have
Yeah,
Zarin.
yeah.
Actually, I got them both. I can just send them to Zarin.
And last night we heard similar things. Last night was more of like we heard a lot of the primate type chimp type vocalizations. That kind of stuff. So anyway, I don't want to get too far off topic, but anyway,
No.
I just wanted you to hear that, John. But I'm going to send you something else later that you need to look at. I don't really want to get into it on the show because
Sounds good.
I don't really have a lot of explanations for you. And these two have seen it too. So, anyway, as far as strength goes, I agree with what you're saying, John, and I get it. Everyone jumps to that conclusion. Hey, it must have been a Sasquatch. That branch is broken in half. Shit, Jesus, it must have been a Sasquatch. It ripped it in half. No, I mean, come on. I mean, yes, I will guarantee these things have a lot of torque, a lot of power. When you're on an investigation and you're in a pine forest, okay, and you see a 30-foot long hardwood tree that's 16 inches in diameter leaned up against a spruce or a pine, and there's 16-inch tracks next to it, that's a different story. Okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, the weather can do some funky things.
Yep.
The weather does funky things. The way trees fall on one another, can explain a lot. And like you said, John, just because something's laid in front of a path, it doesn't mean it's a Sasquatch. And
Yep.
a lot of the structures out there that people post, they happen. My first thought is human. Well, no one goes out there. Well,
You're there.
You're there. So what I mean. I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but it's just trying to be real.
Huh.
Yes, some of them are. I mean, I think that we've all had this discussion. I think 90 to 95% of the tree / stick / limbs / mound, whatever stuff out there, I think it's natural. I really do.
Yeah.
But there is that 5 to 10% that is you can't explain. But I think most of it's natural. I do.
The one I always like, I chuckle at. I mean, someone again will say, "No one has been back here." Well, you're there, and it's a creek, and there's rocks and rocks piled on top of rocks like a pyramid. Come on, guys, how many times I was in Scouts. How many times have you seen or done it yourself, been out and piled a rock on top of another rock on top of another rock? You know, to have have 5 or 6 standing rocks there just to see if you can do it. And then it's like, well, I'll just really F with somebody's mind. I'll just leave it here. The creek will rise and knock it over and it'll be fine, right? But everybody has done that. So here comes a photograph. It's got to be a Sasquatch, man. No human being has been out here, and no human being in their right mind would pile rocks together. Well, if you're looking for a Sasquatch, something big and hairy in the middle of a woods, in the middle of a night, then you might be crazy enough to pile rocks yourself, you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, you know, when it comes to, you know, we interviewed a guy, okay, and we interviewed a guy who's a very good guy, legitimate guy, does not lie. Stu, you know him through BBR. Very good guy, okay. He's a veteran, very legitimate dude, okay. And I will vouch for this guy any day of the week. I can tell I've been enough interviews in my day where you can pick out the BS in 5 minutes. Okay. He snap a bull moose's neck, a fully mature bull. Now that's power. So, you know, I know I couldn't do that. So yes, that's a sign of strength. But like you said, John, you see these things. People are very quick to jump to the Sasquatch conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a split rock here talking about power. I've mentioned it before. I got a picture of it that he pulled apart the rock, and you can see where an arm reached in 2 places, probably to get mice or something. But he pulled apart this rock, and you could see where all the old leaves were and where all the cobwebs were, and now there was like 4 or 5 more extra inches of nothing. And I recorded it the night before. The recorder was right near there, and you can hear it in the recorder. You can hear a large rock being moved. And this rock's pretty good size. It's probably about 8 feet long, probably 8 feet long and like 3 by 3, 3 foot high, 3 foot depth.
So it's not
like
just
the shape of a coffin.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay.
And it just slid it. It just pulled it apart. And in the side that he moved is locked into a trunk. And he still pulled it apart.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like you said, the strength. I'd really like to get something out there, like a jack or something, to see if I can move that rock, like a 1-ton jack and then a 2-ton jack or something.
Well, that's not to say that Mother Nature didn't have a part in it, such as the rock, like you said.
No Mother Nature in this.
Well, let me say, what I'm saying is, like, you know, if there's mice that sneak in a crack of something, Mother Nature has the freezing and thawing and raining and snow and freezing and thawing has work on a rock that, my God, still to reach in there and pull a frickin' rock apart one side from another takes
split them.
Good fingers. You know?
Yeah, it looked like it just grabbed both of them or one side. It probably grabbed one side and pulled it to a side. And then you can see 2 clear spots where something went in 2 spots, because all the cobwebs were clear in these 2 spots.
Wow.
It's interesting.
I don't remember seeing that, Don.
I got it. It's a few years ago. I had sent the picture.
I
have the recording to go with it.
I've got it somewhere, I'm sure.
Something that I got to interject real fast. It was told to me one time by a fellow that said he saw a Bigfoot break a tree. Okay. All right. He said the tree was about 4 inches in diameter. I guess it was a birch tree or it was aspen, something like that.
Okay.
He said that it put its foot up against the tree about 5 feet in the air, that it put its foot up against the tree, reached up, grabbed the tree with both hands, pushed with its foot, and broke it over.
Nah, see, that would take great power, but
In other words, I figure you or I going up to a 2-inch tree, and we put our foot against where we want to break it off, reach up and grab the tree above it with both hands, push with our foot and break down. I mean, it's kind of like standing on a stick on the ground and reaching down and snapping it. That's what he said that he saw. Now, hey, when someone says, I saw this, it gets back to, I know this friend that's got an uncle whose cousin,
sister's brother's cousin's roommate.
Yeah, that lived one time.
Right.
Well, physically, I don't know. We would have a hard time, but with a 6 or 8 inch extra long arm to reach forward there, it's possible.
Well, I mean, it makes more sense to me to use your foot against something like that to break a 2-inch sapling. 8 feet up. Okay, that's possible. Jeremiah, you know how far. You and I both know how far in training you can put your foot.
Oh,
all right. God. Okay.
Yeah.
You and I both know. So I seen, what he got through, whether he was telling a story or not, physically, a human being could do, not to a 6-inch tree, but maybe say to a 2-inch tree, or, depending on the nature of the condition of the tree. And I'm sure that they know the condition of the tree. So, who's to say that they're going to break it the easiest way they can?
Yes, they are.
That's what I'm getting at. So maybe and what he was saying was true. Maybe him saying he saw it may not have been. But
right.
I just wanted to interject that. That's all.
Okay. And a dead tree or a live tree would make a difference.
That makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
I would, definitely.
But they do snap a lot of live branches right off.
Oh, they do, without a doubt. I mean, especially when you see a twist as in comparison to a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you see the fibers, you can only see those fibers twisted, as opposed to
you see the whole trunk twisted. You'll see cracks through the whole trunk twisting.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the twists, are a better. To me, it's better evidence than just something being snapped.
Yeah, I found a nice one. You got that picture, but it was about 7 feet up where it twisted and broke, and then we found fingernail prints where he dug his fingernails in to pull it over.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was up about 10 feet. That was my first sighting of that massive one there, the wintertime one.
Yeah.
But he left fingernail imprints, 3 clear fingernail imprints pulling it over.
Wow.
It was interesting. Yeah, I got some nice pictures of it. There was no other marks on the tree at all. Just these three indents that looked just like fingernails.
Wow.
Whether they were or not, I don't know. But they were right at 10 feet, and they were on the side if you were to pull it over. They were on the top when it was down.
Right.
So,
right.
It's interesting,
Yeah, sure. Stu, what do you have, Dad?
I've only ever found one twist, silver birch, right next to a game trail, base of a cliff, and I would say it was maybe 4-inch thick tree.
Okay.
But it's snapped and twisted at the same time.
Right.
But it's twisted sort of into a semi-knot.
Yep.
And like I say, that was right at the base of a cliff, right next to a game trail, and a really remote part of my area. But I always look for litter, whenever I'm out, because like John says, people say, "Oh, nobody else, nobody goes in there." Well, if if you find a litter, because humans are lazy, people drop litter,
Be right back.
There's always a candy bar wrapper, a tissue lying around,
even in the most remote part, or even in the most remote parts you go, you can always find something.
Yeah, I found a shelter last year. Going back to the shelters people find and straight away, Sasquatch. So I found this lean-to shelter, right next to a track, and right next to a walkway.
Right.
And, it caught my eye at first.
Sure.
So I thought, I'll go and investigate. Stuck my head in, and there was human litter inside.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
how many people would have said, ignored the litter
Right.
and, posted the picture on, on whatever page, Sasquatch page they're on.
Still would have went to the Sasquatch conclusion, is what you're saying.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there was burnt out matches inside. There was candy wrappers. There was a water bottle.
Yeah.
And even even if there wasn't any litter there, its location would say to me, there's no Sasquatch. There's no any of the wild folk are going to build a shelter right next to a footpath.
Right.
Right.
They're not going to do it, are they?
Exactly.
Yeah. But, I always say to people, look for litter. You can't say that you're the only person that's ever been in that area.
Exactly.
Stu, I think a lot of times that people pass up Bigfoot, any sign of Bigfoot, because they see litter, or let me put it this way. You're on a street, any street corner, and you see a cigarette. Laying on the sidewalk, a cigarette butt, and it's like, okay, pass that. I know, biggie. All right. So there may be human litter there, and subconsciously. I'm talking about subconsciously, I guess, is the best way to describe it. All right. They just they don't think. They don't think about it. They don't think about that. It's okay. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but I tried.
No. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's human litter. I mean, you could tell if you were on a street. I've said this before. If you were on a street corner and you hear and it's dark and you hear someone cough, and then you walk down the street. It's dark. You walk down the street, and right there at the corner, no one's standing there, but there's cigarette butts laying there.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me that there probably was somebody there just moments before.
Absolutely.
Right.
Enough proof. Just enough proof. I don't know. Anyway, just something that sticks in my mind, and I don't know. I don't know. Just human, just being human.
Mm-hmm.
No, makes sense.
You can't blame us for that.
No.
Sometimes we make mistakes. Yeah.
We do all the time.
All the time.
Why don't we get on? Oh yeah, same here. Jeez. Anyway, why don't we get on? You guys want to touch on that little subject Robert wanted to cover a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I can actually start this one off if you guys want.
Go for it.
As far as these things, a lot of people refuse to believe. So these things, they aren't dangerous. They won't hurt you. Do I think these things are out to, pull a genocide on the human race? No, I don't.
No.
Do I think there are nasty ones out there that can be extremely aggressive? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think there's other groups out there that are very passive? Absolutely. I think a lot of it depends on the type. A lot of it depends on the individual itself. I think a lot of it depends on the way the alpha male sets the tone. Yeah, you agree with that, Stu?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It makes sense.
I'll always say to new researchers, if you act like a threat, you'll be treated like a threat.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we know from past encounters that there's sometimes a bad apple in the group.
That's right.
And the whole group pays for it,
Absolutely. It's just like humans, aren't it?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good humans, that's bad humans.
Yep,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. There's a jerk wherever you go,
Yeah.
And same with these things, and Don, you and I and Switzer, we've been told by I feel it's a very reliable source. We know these things do grab an occasional person for food, and for those of you out there that refuse to believe it, I apologize, but these things are apex predators. Okay.
Yep.
you take something that can, twist a deer's neck around 360 degrees, it's an apex predator. They're an opportunistic predator. Okay, I'm going to use an example that I've used before. Take one that, maybe a young male, okay, a mature young male that tries to take over the family group, but the alpha, kicks his butt out, okay? Anyway, he's walking along a trail, and let's use the Pacific Northwest or Appalachian Trail, for example, whatever. It doesn't matter where, it could be wherever. Sees a lone hiker, okay, and this thing's hungry. There's a very damn well good chance he's gonna grab him. We've heard stories of it happening before. And take another example would be take maybe an older one or one with an injury. They can't run down a deer anymore, okay, but they can damn sure run down a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's hundreds where they just return the people, whether dead or alive. Try to bury them, stuff them under a bridge, or just let them go, as the case of that little boy down in your area.
Yeah, and then they're great, exactly. And then there's a case up in the Adirondacks years ago where they never found the kid. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but my father was in the state police at that time and remembers the case very, very well. There's a lot that's not mentioned a lot about that case. The kid disappeared in thin air. There's a lot of cases like that.
Well, I was kind of talking about the one down where you are now.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But that one, what was their finding? The sheriffs said that the child was taken by an angelic bear.
An angelic bear in January at that.
Right.
The kid was out in the woods for 3 days, 18 degrees at night, T-shirt, and something kept him warm, and then returned him.
Yeah.
Yep. Now there's
an angelic bear.
That's what the sheriff department came. That was their conclusion, because the kid kept saying it was a bear.
The bear was Protestant. The bear was Protestant.
Well, yeah, it was down in the south. Yeah,
it must have been. But but definitely, Switzer, you're survivalists.
Oh yeah,
I think we all are.
No, I know. I'm just, John. Your opinion, okay? A 3-year, I think he was 3 at the time, actually. The kid.
Oh God, do you really want my opinion on this, Jeremiah? Sure.
I do. Staying outside at night. How does he get through that?
How does he? 18 degrees, John, for four nights. Okay.
All right, this is going to piss people off.
How does he make it?
His odds of survivability, John.
Okay, the survivability of that is absolutely insane. For this child to do what is said that was done. The kid did not have matches on him. Let's say he knows how to light a fire. How old was he again? 5, 6?
Just about to turn
3. Yep. Unless he was told or showed how to build a fire by, say, his father. Unless he was showed how to make, say, a brush hut. All right. Unless he was showed how to use, say, debris to keep himself warm, I would say that the probability of the survival of it is nil.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what I think happened, do you want to know?
I do.
I don't think there was a Bigfoot or a bear involved in it at all. I think there was good old money.
Okay.
Follow the money.
Okay.
Listen. I know we're being broadcast to everybody. It's just my opinion. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. We all have noses. They're like opinions. We all have noses. They all smell. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it works with asses that way too. But it's, I think you've got the news media. You've got people that need money. You've got this kid writing a book sometime down the road. Dad won't let anybody talk to him. The kid's going to come up and say what happened to him. listen, I remember my mom holding me, and I am 71. I remember the first time that I can remember saying the word mommy, and I was like 2.
Right.
All right, 2.5. I was walking.
Okay.
So I remember that. This kid not remembering something like this happening down the road when he is 5 or 6. This kid could write a book and make a lot of money. So there is where I think the things lay. I don't think there was a Bigfoot or a bear involved in it at all. Now that's just my opinion, and I don't want my opinion to hurt anybody else's. Or again, I'm not trying to influence anybody.
Why would someone's opinion hurt someone's feelings these days? You're crazy.
Oh well, it does. We know that.
Well, hell, you can sue McDonald's for having hot coffee. What the? I mean,
I know.
I apologize ahead of time for what I said if somebody is offended by it. But that's just my stupid old man opinion. I've been around too long. Oh, anyway, that's enough. I'm not going to say more.
No, we appreciate the opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what the show's all about. I mean,
yeah, you're entitled. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. You're
right.
entitled to
now
yours.
shut
I'm
up and sit down.
Yeah, and I'm entitled to mine, moron. Yeah.
Right. Don, Stu, before you guys jump in, I mean, I am going to say one thing, and Switzer, you're all going to agree on this one. I don't guarantee it. Now, we all know that bears, on occasion, will come out of hibernation.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, when they do come out of hibernation, what's the first thing on their mind?
Little
Food.
kids.
Hungry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's
Hungry.
all I'll say about
That's why they came out of hibernation.
Mhm.
They either had to get up and pee or they're hungry. One of the two.
I think is cool is the reintroduction of wolves into the Rockies. The grizzlies are not hibernating anymore. They're going back to their old ways of following the wolf packs around, waiting for the kill, and then just going up and eating.
Yeah.
They're finding this out. Yeah, I've seen some films on it. They are staying awake all winter.
Not in my hood. You're not. No way.
This was in the Rockies. Once the wolves came back, the food supply for the bears came back. So no need to hibernate. And they look like they do just fine in the winter. They were having a ball sliding down the hill, and these were grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But interesting, they wait outside. They wait for the pack each morning to move, and then the bear just slowly follows them. And he knows that he's going to end up at a kill site.
Sure.
And he's not afraid of any wolf. He just walks up and eats what he wants and leaves. There's kind of a respect there.
Kind of like home. I get my cup of coffee, and I look across the room and say, "Okay, what's for breakfast, hon?" Right?
Yeah.
I just
So
you're
the grizzly.
I don't have to make. Oh yeah. You have no idea what I've been called like that. But yeah, I got my cup of coffee and I wait for breakfast. Yeah. It's not stupid. It's male-ish, I guess.
But yeah, you're right, Jeremiah. The first thing they do is search for food.
Absolutely.
And if a little kid with food on, the smell, the kids all have the smell of food on them. So.
Oh yeah, they eat through the process of osmosis.
Yeah, right. But he would have had a chunk taken out of him,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But an angelic bear doesn't do that, I guess.
No,
that doesn't cut it for me. An angelic bear.
Can you imagine the bear going, "Dear Heavenly Father, we do thank you for that which we are about to receive."
That same thing happened to a girl on the West Coast, except the bear gave her berries to eat while he was keeping her warm.
My wife stuffs turkey with doggone stuffing, so maybe it's the same kind of a deal.
It could be.
Could be. Hey, Stu, let me ask you a question. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I was going to say the downfall of that is I heard, this may not be true, but children that come in contact with these creatures early, later on in life, have difficult issues.
Oh, yeah.
And certain people too. But I heard somewhere these children later on in life all had, issues.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it,
They
I
become
found it
attorneys.
disturbing to see one. I mean,
You're right.
you're seeing something that's not supposed to exist.
Yeah.
So it's very, very disturbing in my opinion.
Yeah, they grow
When
up
you're
to
a child, it's a monster.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They all grow up to become Democrats.
Oh, for sure.
Or Tories in the UK.
Okay, now you're pissing people off.
There you go. I knew I could do it. Yeah.
People's nerves. Anyway, Stu, have you guys had any cases like that out there?
None that I can find, Jeremiah. We've got cases of missing people.
Right.
We haven't got any cases of people going missing, and yeah, we don't have any angelic bears. We have got a case in the Midlands in the UK of a homeless guy found in a tent who was decapitated and disemboweled.
Yeah, you told me about that last week, I think, right?
Yeah, I know that was the guy that the head was gone, disemboweled, and I think the police put it down to it being a murder by a drug addict.
Could that have been? I got to ask you, Stu. I mean, I had at one time. Well, I still do, I guess. Have a relationship from England. Could that have? And going on what I've been told through this one person's belief, could that possibly have been some sort of coven or witchcraft type of thing?
Yeah. It's possible. It's possible it could. It's possible it could be a big heart attack.
Yeah. I mean, I'll ask my wife after we get off about that too.
Yeah, it's possible it could be, the darker side of magic.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered.
Doesn't lean towards it, but big cat attack. Who knows? But the police report saying it was a murder, a homicide by a crazed drug addict. That doesn't sound right to me,
No,
did they say how they cut the head off? Was it torn off or cut?
It didn't say in the report. It just said he was found decapitated and disemboweled.
Well, that could have been two separate acts too. It could have been.
Right. Because there are cases of a lot of people in certain areas that lose their heads.
Yeah.
They're found headless.
Well, we've heard, Don, from a certain individual that the Navajos and the Apaches talk about how these things would kill. They'll grab onto the torso with one hand, grab onto the top of the head with the other, push and pull at the same time. Whether I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows? Who knows? It's
right now, Stu, isn't there? Do you follow David Paulides, Missing 411?
I sometimes, yeah.
I was wondering if he had any out in your area. That's what I was wondering.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Not that I know of, no. There doesn't seem to be much in his stuff about the UK. I know he's got a lot of followers over here. Yeah. But I've read some of his reports and some of them to me, you can't put everything. Some of his reports you can't put down to a Sasquatch or a Dogman attack.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, I had a friend a few years ago that went missing in an area where I actually heard of the first time of Bigfoot. I was 77. I was like 13, and a friend of mine's brother said he saw a Bigfoot in this area. This was back in 77. A couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I get a report of aggressive animal in that area through my mother. My mother knows people that put new houses into the swamp. They built a cul-de-sac, stretch into the swamp. The last house, something was ramming into this woman's fence, ramming into the side of their house, and it was shaking their house. And they knew it was something big. They didn't know what it was. 2 weeks later, a friend of mine goes out there on a Friday night by himself, takes a walk, and disappears. They search for him for a week. Helicopters, dogs would not track. Helicopters couldn't find him. Yeah, and then 1 week later, they stopped the search, and one thing they did is they kicked all the locals out. No locals allowed here, even though we knew the area better than anyone. A group came in, they searched, they didn't find him, and that was like a Friday night. Saturday morning, they said, go ahead, the locals, go out and look for him. 45 minutes later, there he is next to the main trail. They find him.
Is he dead?
He wasn't there. What? Yeah, he was dead.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember dying. You calling me that.
Yeah, they said he hung himself, but he was on the ground, and I know people that found him. They said the side of his face had trauma. And if you're gonna hang, they said this is what the story was. He was in the tree. He jumped. He hung himself. But when they found him, he was on the ground, and they said, well, the rope must have broke. Now, when's the rope going to break? When he first jumps or days later? You know?
Yeah, it's going to snap straight away.
There should still be a rope. Was there a rope?
You know, I haven't talked. Yeah, they must have been a rope because they were all talking. Even the family thinks that he hung himself, except his brother.
They said there was a rope.
Yeah. The local people that knew him found him. And
okay.
Yeah, and they said it was totally suspicious. It didn't look like a hang-in to them because nothing looked right about it for a hang-in. Now, who knows what went on that week prior because all the locals were kicked out. I don't know. I don't know what went on. I just know when the search ended, the helicopters left. Bam, the next day, 45 minutes later after they started the search, they had him.
Right.
So,
that almost sounds like somebody knew exactly where to find him.
It was on the main. It was a trail that goes around a pond, and they started walking the trail, and there he was right off the trail.
Yeah, Don, if I remember correctly, didn't they found this out from his cell phone? Didn't he go an extreme distance in a very short amount of time?
No, not that one. I don't. Yeah, it must be something else. They don't. They're not sure.
But a half an hour or something like that.
No. But what was funny, like if somebody's gonna commit suicide, they don't lock up their vehicle. That's very, very uncommon.
Right.
You know, his vehicle was locked up tight. The dogs got a scent, and as soon as the dogs got to the beginning of the trail, the dogs laid down. So they brought another group of dogs in. They did the same thing. They would not track.
Yep.
And that's a common theme.
It is. Because that's what happened down here with that little boy. I have a police officer.
100 years early. I was going to say 100 years earlier in that same spot. Another woman, Evelyn Packard, you can go on Bridgewater Triangle on a website or anything and look this up. My cousin actually married into this family. It's the same family. They were a big family from Brockton, the fifth family to live in Brockton or something. But she was canoeing, and people were right behind her following up the river. She went around the corner, got to a bridge where you pull your canoe up, and you can pull the canoe up on like a little grass beach. Well, they come around the corner, and there's her canoe floating in a little lagoon. And they looked around, called for her, didn't find her. They looked for this woman for a week. And then on the 7th or 8th day, they found her under the bridge. But I'm just saying it's that week later thing. That comes up so much that they're right there where you've been looking for them, you think the whole time, but they show up there. Right. It's interesting. It's just some of those things, but it's in the same area from where my buddy went missing.
Yeah.
No,
interesting.
It's all Hockomock Swamp, you know.
Yeah.
I've never really heard of other. I just know that area because I'm local from that area, and I've never heard of any other missing persons like that in that area.
But they have found other bodies there, though, right? They have had injuries that they say humans couldn't have inflicted.
I don't know. I haven't heard any of that there.
Okay.
Not in the swamp. Not in that area there.
Okay.
It's just odd that there was aggressive activity when my buddy went missing, and where that cul-de-sac was put in was the spot where my friend's brother saw it in 1977, the exact spot. And now
Is
there's
that
a
the guy-
house
is
in
the
that
guy we
spot.
interviewed?
What's that?
Is that the guy we interviewed?
No.
Okay.
No, that was Eric. That was a few towns away, part of the Hockomock, but Borderland Park it's called in Easton. It's a lot of
Very
swamp.
interesting-
It's still
interesting
connected.
encounter.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting too. He saw the whites of the eyes and everything, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's very close to houses. And
Yeah.
when I looked on a 1700 map of my buddy's sighting area, the creek that he goes down is called like Man's Creek today. But back in 1700, it was called Devil's Creek.
Devil's.
That's right where he had his sighting. Yeah, that's what he was doing, following the creek.
Huh.
That's another thing that Devil's thing comes
The
up a lot too.
devil thing. Yeah. Sure does.
Yeah.
But you do hear a lot of just people being returned, so to speak.
You do.
You know.
You do. Yeah.
And that's I always wondered if now predators have a trigger that will fish all the way up to Sasquatch. They have a trigger that will tell them to attack, even though they're not hungry.
Oh,
It's
if you
a
run a
predator thing.
predator, yeah, especially
Weather plays a big part of it, you know.
Yep.
And that comes up a lot too. So you really wonder if these things are just see something running from them, they grab it, they kill it, and they don't really want it, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do? You hide it for a week until everything calms down, then you put it back.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
And they're smart enough to know. And I think, with the hidings a lot, they're smart enough to know if they do this to a human being. I think they're smart enough to realize that they made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're going to
They
be...
don't want
they're-
retaliation, repercussions.
Yeah. If they
It's
are
fine.
if they are that smart, then you've got to kind of make it run parallel with what a human being would think, what a human being would say, what a human being would do.
Correct.
You done something wrong. It's like, oh shit, what have I got to do?
Right.
I got to take it back now. Oh,
Right.
jeez.
You stole what? Put
Yeah.
it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or being reprimanded by the higher authority in the troop. You
Right.
did what? Get that damn thing out of here. It
Yeah.
stinks. It's going to smell the
Yeah.
place up.
We got enough problems with your mother.
Yeah.
Put that
Well,
thing back.
Right.
I mean, kids are going to be kids. I don't care if they're chimpanzees. I don't care if they're human beings. I've sat there and watched a chimpanzee get slapped by its mother.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
and
Now,
what
if
was
these
Jeremiah?
ahead.
Yeah, Jeremiah interviewed the guy that saw the two brothers, and one
Don-
hit the other in the face with a bush or
Don-
a brush.
Yeah, Don and I did that together, didn't we, Don?
Which guy was that? Oh yeah,
Remember?
I think so.
Yeah, Don did that with me, yeah. Yep.
I laughed so hard when I heard that because the way the guy described it, the brother hit the other one in the face with this brush.
Yeah.
And it looked like on the cartoon you could see the imprint of his face coming out the other side.
And the other...
And I laughed. You got to send me that. Stu, you've got to
Right.
hear that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to post that to our YouTube channel soon. The other one looked at the other one took a look at the other one like, when we get home, your ass is mine.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you guys. If these things are, just assume that they are taking people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which age do you think? Would it be a young horny male, or would it be a dominant male, or would you think it would be an older male?
I think it would be, I think it could go both ways. Maybe with an older male or a young, like you said, horny, full of testosterone.
I guess they would all have a different reason for taking
Yeah.
a person too,
Yeah.
It's because there is an account where a woman and a man were walking and a creature came out of the woods and tried fighting the guy, and they think he was fighting for the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened in the 1800s. That's the one that was hundreds of years ago in Ohio.
Yeah. In Ohio, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what about a female who's lost an infant and
That
sees
can-
a child in the woods?
Yep.
Will she take that child to replace the infant she's lost?
That's a good point as well.
That's a good one too. He has to. That's true. Because other animals will do that.
Yeah.
Right. Or if they wanted to just grab him and braid their hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give him a pony. Yeah.
So we had a
That's an inside joke, guys. Yeah.
we had a
deep inside.
About 10 years ago over here up in Northumberland, where I am, there was a massive police manhunt for a guy who he'd shot his ex-girlfriend, he'd shot her new boyfriend, and he'd shot a policeman in the face. Took off. Manhunt for him. I mean, a huge manhunt. And he'd taken off to an area not far from my... Though I have no luck finding them at all. There was hundreds. They sealed the village off. Nobody in, nobody out the village. Totally sealed off. Hundreds of police, army, tracking teams, search teams. And in the end, there was no sign of him. In the end, the government sent 2 Tornado fast jets with thermal imaging pods on.
Good Lord, they were messing around.
Or the one not messing around. I mean, armed police everywhere. Now the fast jets picked up a large bipedal figure walking at a fast walking pace. And they picked it up. It was going through heavy woodland at a fast walking pace. Now they tracked that for 18 miles through heavy woodland, heading southwest. They sent the search and rescue teams in, tracker teams in, dogs. Nothing. Not a track. Nothing. When they eventually cornered the guy, he was 10 miles away to the northeast. He hadn't left the village at all. He'd been hiding in a storm drain for 2 weeks. So what did those fast jets pick up?
Right.
What were they attracting?
Did it say how long it took to cover those 18 miles?
I've got it somewhere, but it wasn't very long.
Right. Okay.
Fast. They described it as a fast walking pace through heavy woodland for 18 miles, and it did not stop.
Interesting.
Right. See, I wonder if the creature, I'm assuming it was a creature, saw all the activity going on, looking for the guy, and said, they're looking for me. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I mean, they had every armed officer in the northeast. I think there was something like 200 armed police officers.
That's uncommon for your neck
it
of
was
woods, right?
it was crazy. And he was miles away in the opposite direction when they found him. He'd been in a storm drain for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Hadn't been anywhere near the area where the fast jets had picked up the thermal.
Good Lord.
Were there a lot of questions about that with the media?
Nope. There was a media blackout. It was pretty full on, like, but it certainly wasn't him. The fast jets were picking up.
Right. That's interesting. I wonder if they send troops out there following it. I mean, besides the dogs and stuff, did they
armed response police officers, park rangers, and dog teams.
So that's a lot of manpower.
Yeah. They even have you ever heard of Ray Mears, the bushcraft guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ray Mears. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He went. He volunteered his services. He went, and he was helping out with the tracking, and absolutely nothing, no sign, no tracks, no scent of the guy in that area where the fast jets picked him up.
he would be a great guy to approach to get involved with the BBR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stu,
absolutely.
do it. Do what you can, man. Do what you can.
I will. Yeah.
This guy's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to survival, and
Mhm.
you know, me having been trained to turn with that to turn around and say that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ray Mears, I watch him for stuff as well.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh, he's the guy that was on the wasn't he the pilot? He was a pilot for the Royal Air Force. He was on that show with when the three
Bear?
other American guys. Dude, you're
Oh.
screwed. Is that who I'm thinking of?
Oh my God, that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Ray Mears was a survival instructor. He was a survival instructor for the Ministry of Defence for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Really knowledgeable guy. No
This-
bullshit
the guy-
about him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy I'm thinking of invented the Sears training program. Seek, evade. He was a British fighter pilot. Is that the guy I'm thinking of or no?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You might be thinking of. Help me out here, Stu. Fairborn, Sykes. Remember them? The ones that came up with the dagger. And that's how I know him. I'm one because he was a police inspector in Hong Kong. Oh
That's
my God!
right, he was. Yes.
He came back. Jeremiah. He came back with a fighting system that is just like he said. When you grab somebody from behind and your fingers, like for the instance, and your fingers slip into their eyes, don't be nice. You're out to kill them. Let your fingers stay in their eyes.
Absolutely.
You know. And
It's like, you know,
had to get that across to people. You know.
It's like in jujitsu, you know, when you're in tournaments, someone taps out, you let go. But if you're we were taught you're in a street situation fighting for your life, and you have someone in a Kimura lock, you finish the move.
Yeah.
You know, break their shoulder. You know, you get them in a choke. You choke them out. You put them out.
Yeah, they're not dead, but they're down. Yeah.
They're down. You damn right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those fast jets picked up something large on two legs. Walking.
And it would have had to have been large for them to see it too. Stu.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Jeez.
The
The direction it was heading, is that deeper forest?
Yeah. Yep. It leads on to forest and moorland.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's nothing but moors and forest for miles.
How, Stu, if I may ask, I'm going to ask for a lot of people that don't know. I have a pretty good idea myself, but the amount of wooded area, marsh, moors, forest that England that comprises England, that's England's made of, that the continent of Scotland and England combined, how much percentage could you think you could say is actually wilderness, wild? Because I think everybody thinks the cities and styles, fashion and so forth like that, coming out of London.
75% of the UK is rural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the county that I live in, Northumberland, we don't even have a city in Northumberland. We've got small towns and villages and nothing but forests, right up over the Scottish borders. I think the nearest, the next county down south from me has one city. The county I'm in has none, and then the next city up is Edinburgh in Scotland.
Okay, yeah.
It's just
it's pretty rural. I mean,
Yeah, we've in the county I'm in, we have I believe 7 last time I checked. It might be 6, but we are the third largest. Should we say village? And there's 500 people in this town or village that I live in, and all of them are related except me. But
come on, John, don't get to lie to us.
I'm keeping it going here, bro. They did when I moved here. They wanted to know who I was related to, and I said, "Well, there's 2 gene pools. There's yours and there's mine."
Right.
And then I after about a month of it, this one guy who really, I mean, oh my God, I had rocks thrown at my house.
And a
yeah, the
Sasquatch.
aluminum siding, it had to be a Sasquatch because he broke sticks off in my lock on my door. Okay. And this one guy who he's gone now, but he came up to me and he goes, "How do you like living in this town?" And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm not related to anybody, but I'm really getting sick and tired of," and I told him what? It never happened again. All right. So, it was like I told him I'm dug in like a Georgia tick. You better get used to it. But but we are like there's 500 people in this town, and there's 7, and this is a large rural county. I couldn't tell you how many miles it is, but the majority of this county is farmland, river bottom, and wooded areas.
Yeah.
I can't say forest, but we have wildlife areas in the county.
Sure.
So, but I think it's kind of like what you're talking about, Stu.
Yeah.
But I think your area is probably has a lot more beauty to it than this one does.
Well, it's like, when I tell people I'm from New York State, they think of the city.
Yeah.
They think of New York. Meanwhile, they don't realize the Adirondacks hub. It's 6.2 million acres and nothing but wilderness. People think of cities. New York, Syracuse, Albany. No, majority of New York State is wilderness.
Yeah, that's just like Maine. Everyone thinks it's big cities in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well,
but my county is 95% woods.
Well, when I think of Maine, I think of coastland.
Yeah.
The coast, and that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Rocky Coast. Yeah, there's plenty of that.
But when I went on to stay with Don and I went to Maine. Don's come down and he came to the Adirondacks at one point too. But when I went up there, it was it reminded me of where I'm originally from. And I had a misconception that it was coastland and all that, like you said, John. But it wasn't. Just like where I was, very similar.
I can see it up on top of the hill. I can see the ocean, but I'm 10 miles inland.
Don, that brings up a good point. These things in Maine, you and I have talked about it before, so I know the answer. But for the people listening, as far as these things using the beaches, the rural beaches, to as like a corridor, say, do they use it?
No, I don't think up here as much because we don't have like beaches. Like I said, we got a lot of rock coast, but I do notice that they go down to the beach in the wintertime, probably for the mussels, the clams, and I can't think of any other reason they would go there. There is mussels everywhere, and there's a meal throughout the winter. Mm-hmm. But that one I saw in the wintertime was actually right near the ocean. And why else would he be that close? I had a feeling they were going down to the beach. But the land is owned by the railroad, and you can't get in there. Well, you can, but you got to be slick.
Right.
But the only private beach, it's not really a beach, but coastline, this area, it's maybe a mile of blocked off area, and that's right where they come in. Yeah. Quiet, unseen. But I think they go down to eat. I'm sure there's some places where they travel the beach, maybe West Coast.
Did you? Was it you that told me, or someone else from Maine that you found a really long line of tracks on one of the beaches in Maine? I thought it was you for some reason. I did hear that somewhere, and that's the reason I brought that
up. Probably upper. Up a little further up in Maine. Not many people up there.
Yeah, I know there's cases in Northern California, where people have seen these things, on the, right on the coast, with kelp wrapped around their shoulders.
Hanging 10, dude, they're down there on the beach, chilling. The waves are up. Oh, yeah.
But
they have been seen, but I think they go down for food because they're wide open. They have no cover.
Right. Yeah.
But you never know.
I've heard it reports on YouTube, actually, on a couple of the documentaries of Sasquatch being sighted going after mussels, I'm thinking why Vancouver and Kodiak Island stick out in my mind.
Yeah.
I believe that it's both correct, but
Sasquatch Island.
yeah, Sasquatch Island. I saw that. I can't
Prince
remember
of,
who was in it,
Prince
but
of Wales.
Yeah, I think.
John Green wrote about that in The Apes Among Us.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's there's a lot of reports of such.
Mhm.
You know,
Right. Yeah,
and
I saw that one with the guys from the boat. Heard it coming out through the woods. It came right onto the beach. It saw them and took off, but they lit it up,
yeah,
I think.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
there was another one where they saw that grizzly taking off in the other direction, and out behind
Uh,
it was a
oh, that
Sasquatch.
was the one. Yeah, that was the
Yep.
one. Yeah.
I read about that one. I didn't. Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
on
there's a lot of
Monster Quest.
Yeah,
food on the seashore, isn't it?
Oh
absolutely,
yes. Yeah.
absolutely. A lot of medicinal properties to kelp as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And protein, those muscles.
Yep. Well,
absolutely.
you guys, I've showed you guys, we're Stacey and I have found multiple, those turtle shells, and I'm convinced, why not go after a
Oh.
turtle?
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
if you've got to survive and you've got to travel and you have a river, that's the best thing to do is go down river because one, you'll run into something, and two, there is so many animals that come up to that river to feed at night. You
Yeah.
know, whether it's a possum or it's a raccoon or it's a fox or a coyote, meat is meat.
meat is
Yeah.
meat. That's right.
All
Yep.
right,
Mhm.
water's water, and you can. I can't think of the name of it. Gardidia, I think. Jardidia. If you have to survive off of creek water,
Yep.
you're generally
Yeah.
found
Oh,
in,
yeah,
yeah,
Jardia. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Jardia. You're generally found in 3 days. And
Right.
by the time Jardia would hit you, you will have already been found and seen a doctor.
Yeah, it's like a week.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you'll poop your guts out if you don't go to be checked out as soon as you get out of a
Right.
survival situation. And the
Right.
water, if you don't filter it, will taste like rusty fish poop. About best way to
Mhm.
describe it. Yeah.
Rusty fish food.
Tasty.
Yeah. And if you boil it, you get rid of all the stuff, but it still tastes
Yeah.
like boiled rusty fish poop. Yeah. Or
Right.
food. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I like you said, I'd rather drink whatever water to stay alive and deal with the consequences of that later on.
Which brings to my mind, if a Sasquatch is drinking water like that, and they are they're living in a survival mode, the parasites that they probably have within their system.
Yeah.
And we think of, oh, look at this big pile of Sasquatch poop. Yeah, you can get a sample of it, but it might have some DNA in it and so forth, but it's going to have parasites. So it's kind of crazy. I've mentioned this before. What you've got to look for, an herbivore leaves a pile of poop like a cow, unless it is like, say, a deer or some kind of an antelope or moose, and then you have what looks like big freaking rabbit pellets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So, and correct me on this, you two guys from upstate, and
They lay a lot of patties too.
right. Oh, well, there you
Yeah.
go. But a carnivore or a omnivore, unless it has a digestive problem, will lay a log or a turd.
Mhm.
All right, unless and just kind of relate it to what your diet is like. You want to go eat a bunch of, say, Mexican after a week fast? Yeah, go for it and see what your system does. But love Mexican. But it's some
Me
of it
too.
hits some. Yeah, there you go. Some of it hits you in such a way that it ain't logs, brother. So
Right.
relate this if you find something out in woods, but also look at what it contains. Hair, bone fragments. If you find hair and bone fragments and it looks like a turd, then chances are, depending upon the size of it, it could be a coyote, it could be a fox. or
Right.
it could be a wolf, something like that. If it's bigger and it's got hair in it, then it could be a human that's living off of mice. Okay. And if it's bigger, then it's got to be a Sasquatch, right? So
Must be.
Well,
Yeah.
that one, the creature left for me, it's human size, all brown, but it's full of acorns and beech nuts. Very little hair,
there
but
you go.
there is hair in there. I mean, that's protein, the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not black. It's definitely chocolate brown with nuts
Right.
in it.
Well, if
With
it's
acorns
black,
and
it's their own blood that's in it. If it's
Oh,
black, if a human being, uh, you know,
like a cat.
crabs,
Cats are usually black.
yeah, or craps, if a human being craps, all right, and it's black, it usually means that you've got blood inside of your intestines or your stomach,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So if you find something that's the size, as it was mentioned to me, would have a Louisville slugger, remember that one? I sent you the picture, Jeremiah. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That was more like a raccoon. But if you find it that big and it's black, then it's got blood in it, and that makes me wonder about their diet. So
Right.
just useless information about who's going to talk and argue about shit. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Oh, we're talking about shit.
Yeah. But
Like,
you can learn a lot from it.
You
Yeah.
can. Yeah,
If
that's the
it's
point.
Squatch.
Yeah, Stu,
Yeah.
you got any ideas on anything like that, buddy?
No comment.
Well said, my friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this will didn't actually. I think we just found a topic to bring up with our forensics friend next week.
That
Yeah.
would be, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
Right.
guys, I hate to do this.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's come to the end.
Oh,
It's come to the end, unfortunately.
This is the
It
end.
has. But excellent discussion, guys. Excellent.
Yeah, it went well. Went good.
It did. Well, I think we always do well. I might be biased, but hey, what the hell? Anyway.
and I apologize again about that little boy. That's just,
Oh, hey,
but just my opinion. Just an
That's
opinion.
okay.
So, yeah,
entitled. You're entitled. You are
Yeah.
entitled to your opinion.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather hear that than the boy was, helped by an angelic
Like
bear.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean,
Dominity. Now you can go home. Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture a bear with a halo and wings.
Well, just kind of, you know who Yogi Bear is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just figure he died and like that.
there you go. So
That's
he's
what's
got
happening.
a hat and a tie.
I got wings, and that's the way it goes. Boo boo. Yep.
And a
Right.
picnic basket.
Yeah. An angelic bear. I got
Right.
a friend that does cartoons, and I'm going to ask him to do an angelic bear.
There you go.
And I'm gonna post it as soon as he does it. I will do that. Yeah.
And I have no doubt that you will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Jeff Williams. Jeff Williams is a good cartoonist. He does Bigfoot cartoons. He has his cartoons on YouTube, as a matter of fact, and I do an awful lot of his voiceovers on his cartoons. Oh yeah, the old lady and the little kid and all this, and Jeff is he's very talented. And Jeff, if you're listening, there's your plug. I told you I'd do it. So there you go. Jeff Williams.
Well, great
The
discussion.
cartoonist.
And
Yep.
and I gotta throw one out too. I gotta throw out Steve Baxter for providing us with the art. Steve, Stu.
Oh yeah.
Awesome graphic artist. So I want to thank him for providing the art for these shows we do, and
A lot of talent there.
unbelievable. So but anyway, great discussion, guys. And next week, same back time, same back channel, and we're gonna have a good one for you next week, everybody. So stay tuned.
That's all, folks.
That's all. All right, guys. Everyone have a good evening. And
Are we gonna give our emails out or?
I mean, we can.
Oh, Lord.
Don, go,
Okay.
Don, go ahead.
Oh, shoot. What are we on? Squatch or the other one? All right. You can get a hold of me at JRG Down East Maine, the state, at gmail.com. Don't
Yep.
write the state. I was just saying Maine is the state.
There you go. There you go.
Anytime. Go ahead, John.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
Stu.
Sean. I love it. Stu, you got one? I'm looking mine up.
Mine's stewhill123@hotmail.com.
Excellent, John.
Mine is, you're going to love it. I haven't got that yet, Jeremiah. Mine is Indiana, JRGJS@gmail.com.
Very good. And you can reach me.
Is that all just one? No dots or anything? Just Indiana JRGJS?
Indiana, JRGJS at
Okay.
Yeah, I got at gmail.com.
I think there's some listeners that might want to talk to you. So I was just making sure they can get a hold of you.
Right.
Well, I'm sure there is, yeah.
And you can reach,
All right.
you can reach me at either jrg.executive.dirjf@gmail.com or onthetrail.jf@gmail.com. We're all more than happy to answer any questions anyone ever has. That's the reason. So,
or if they'd like to come on. Oh no, this is the wrong. Is that the right show? I don't know.
our show, Don. Jesus God Almighty.
Confused.
All right, guys.
Too many emails.
Right.